Alright, some vert skateboarding progression. Have you ever dropped in on a vert ramp? Have you ever even skated vert? I bet most of you haven't, because not many cities have half pipes that feel like you're dropping in on a building. And also, if you had one, most people don't want that feeling. We want to skate, not skydive. Well, the past year, I've started to learn vert skateboarding. I learned some vert skateboarding tricks, and the reason for this was that last summer, a brand new, insane skate park arrived here in my city, Amsterdam. And at this skate park there is a huge vert bowl. It's made in this backyard bowl style. It contains beautiful tiles. The bowl is 357 centimeters high and is made out of solid concrete, so you'd rather not fall there. However, me and a bunch of friends, we decided that this is what we wanted to skate, learn to skate, and we've kept our promise because this decision became reality. We've learned to skate this thing for the past year and made some noticeable progress. Alright, so the first thing we noticed when we started skating this concrete bowl of 3.5 meters high is that you need special protective gear. And the reason for this is very simple. Regular knee pads, they simply don't work. When I fell wearing my regular knee pads, it still hurts. So these special type of knee pads, they are around 100 euros a pair. And I know that might sound expensive, but from experience, I can definitely tell you that this is worth it. Some other funny adjustments I made were bigger wheels and a bigger board, and I know some skaters even have a separate vert board and a separate street board, but I don't really like the idea of that. So just to make things clear, before I started the vert skating practice at this bowl, I did have some vert skateboarding experience, so I didn't start at complete zero. I started skating at 11 years old, and back then, in the early stages of my skateboarding career, I focused mainly on street skating, but I was always very intrigued by vert skating, and I had tried and learned a couple of vert tricks. So my bag of vert skating tricks contained the drop-in, incredibly scary skateboard trick to first learn. Not that difficult though, but it requires a lot of courage. I was also able to do backside and frontside kick turns, not very scary to learn. You can just start them out very low and then just go higher and higher. Also, I was able to do tiny early grab backside grab. Not really a trick I'm proud of though, but it shows that I was in the very first stages of getting a little control of vert skating. And then very basic, but also very necessary, knee slides. A very basic trick, not really even a trick, but it's very necessary. You really need it for any other trick, because if you bail out, you gotta do a knee slide, and this trick doesn't, or this ability doesn't come naturally. You have to learn it, but you must also learn it for other tricks. So about 2 weeks before the opening of the new skate park, there was a vert skating session at the old metal vert ramp underneath this pretty sketchy bridge here in Amsterdam. But it was a nice sunny day, and I decided I had to learn a new trick. So up to this point, I had never thought of trying extra stalls on a vert ramp, but the session was really good and there were other skaters doing tricks 10 times sicker than simple extra stalls. So I figured this would be a good next trick, extra stalls. It was quite scary. Stalling the trick was the easy part. It did take quite some courage to do that, but it took even more courage to go back in. So what happened was I bailed out a lot and I started losing my patience, but after so many tries, the only thing left to do was to just commit. And there it was. So here's a secret little tip. It feels a bit counterintuitive, but actually grinding while trying this trick makes it a lot easier to commit. From this point, we started getting more serious. Being able to extra stall means being able to cruise around a little bit in the vert ramp, and also the brand new insane skate park had just opened up. So more vert skateboarding tricks, they just had to be learned. One trick I've always wanted to learn are nice proper backside airs, and I decided that landing a proper one in the vert bowl, that was going to be my goal for the summer. So I looked at loads of tutorials on YouTube. There were even kids out there explaining how to learn this trick. But after having tried to learn this trick for a couple days, I was really starting to doubt whether it'd be possible within the time frame. I did learn a lot though, and knee slides were getting more comfortable. I was starting to get a lot more control in the vert bowl. And then one day there was a lot of hype during a session, and I knew that the only way to progress was just to commit. Landing the trick felt really great. It really felt like my first proper trick on vert. So I was very happy about it. 10 out of 10 experience. I do have to mention that this trick betrayed me about a month ago because I got a hang up at the highest part, 3.5 meters high, so I haven't been able to skate for the past month. So do be careful when skating vert. The risk and reward is a lot higher, especially the risk. So the risk was not skating for a month, but there have been more rewards than just being able to backside grab, because the next trick of my Vert skateboarding progression was the frontside grab. You just can't keep riding bulls backside forever. So doing these as early grabs was quite easy to learn, and to be really honest, I don't think I can do them quite late yet, but I did learn to do them higher and higher, and that's a small amount of progress I appreciate.
Oh shit, je had hem weg! Woo!
Another trick that I wanted to learn in the vert last summer was the backside disaster at the deep end of the bowl. So I'm quite good at regular backside disasters in tiny ramps though, but stalling this trick on the coping at the deep end, that was really scary. What's even more scary is going back down, because you have to press your nose into the vert. That's one of those moments where your love for skateboarding is evaluated. It's terrifying.
Yo!
The next trick of my Vert skateboarding progression might surprise you a bit, because usually you'll learn this one before airs and disasters, but up to this point I hadn't done a rock and roll at the deep end yet. So I wanted to learn how to rock and roll, and I want to learn how to rock and roll before rock to fakies, because rock to fakies means going back fakie into the bowl, and I'm not sure what's more difficult, but I definitely felt less scared turning my board back in there. There were a couple very sketchy attempts where my wheels hit the coping when turning back in.
Eeuw! Heel mooi.
After landing it, I decided to try and upgrade the trick, put a little slide in there. Eventually, I even landed that one, and I'm now the proud world record holder of the smallest board slide in the world. Shout out to Ruben, giving me a high five every single time I land a trick.
Yeah.
Perhaps next time I could do a skateboarding progression video of all of my friends from their past year of Vert skateboarding progression. It seems like a wholesome skate content idea. So my own vert skateboarding progress up until this point, it's basically been learning fundamental vert tricks. And I'm well aware that it hasn't been anything too crazy, but there's been one trick that I would have never expected to land, and that's the finger flip in the metal vert ramp. The full video, it is up on my channel, but a fun bonus fact about that trick is that after landing it for the first time, my thumb was kind of bruised, and that was because I kept catching it with my board. So for the second angle, we needed a second angle, so I had to focus on catching it with the palm of my hand, which in fact turned out to be a way better way to catch your board anyway. So if anyone is ever attempting to do finger flips in a vert, try catching it with the palm of your hand. That's a very good tip. Big shout out to all of my friends at the skate park for skating with me. The vibe there is always incredibly good, and I still remember the first day of testing the skate park for the very first time, and we were able to see how well it skated, but this obviously didn't say anything about how the atmosphere was going to be. And I gotta say, I'm very happy with how that turned out, because at the bowl there's always such a good vibe, such a fun and open-minded group of people hanging around there. BMXers, inline skaters, skateboarders, we're all chilling with each other, and I won't say anything about the street section though. All of this different footage, it has been shot on lots of different days over the course of the past year. Many people have helped film, friends, but also strangers. There was one time a random guy was shooting with a beautiful camera, and I noticed he was shooting, so I later met up with him at his office to exchange the footage. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out and skate on.
Ai! Nog een keer! Nog een keer! Get it, yes sir! Oh! Yes sir!